Welcome in to the MJ38 show, episode number 17.
17.
17 of them.
Can't even put it up on my hands anymore.
2.5 weeks. You need to use your toes. We're almost out of toes. 17 deep. That's a good amount.
Yeah.
Welcome in.
Welcome to the show.
Glad y'all are tuning in. If you're tuning in for the first time, really appreciate you being here. If you've been here for more than that, really, really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, seriously.
And coming back.
I know there's a few people out
for
there.
round, whatever round you're on. Some people have seen all 17. Shout out to those people. If
That's
you're in
what I
that
was about to
select
say.
percentage, if you're in the all 17 club, we're going to have shirts for you or something, dog, whenever
For
we get
real.
to 50.
There's people out there that like, hey, where's the next episode at? Like, you're off rhythm. I'm like, that's so tight. Thanks for keeping me accountable. Yeah, I got you. We were doing stuff. But
Heard.
for those people, I just want to hand them a shirt next time.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that'd be tight.
Either way, the waters are warm. We're chilling, having a great life. Hopefully yours is going well as well. Either way, we're here for you.
Welcome in.
Number 17, Philip Rivers was our athlete. We kind of skipped over that this week. We kind of kept moving.
I like your intro. You're rolling, dog.
I'm just spewing here.
Yeah, I feel like it's been a while since we've had like this moment. It's nice to just like formally introduce it. Philip Rivers, first number 17 that came to mind.
Yeah, that was the one that was in my head. I couldn't think of another one, but that was one that was, I saw like the outline, like, da-da-da, like mystery figure appeared.
Yeah.
Challenger. I was like, oh, who is it? Who is it?
Yeah. It was Philip Rivers. 17 is jersey and 17 kids. I think.
No way.
I think he has 10 kids.
It's something like that, though.
His
It's
wife's
in
pregnant with their 10th kids.
double digits for sure.
Because he can be the quarterback for a starting 11 with all his children.
What a savage. That's so many children. That is so many children.
That's a big goal.
People be doing that. People be doing that for real.
Having
that's a real
kids like
thing.
that?
Yeah. Him as an example, but he's like a, NFL quarterback. I'm sure he gets paid pretty well. But like, there are people who don't have NFL contracts and have like 7, 8, 9, 10 kids.
Yeah. I mean, if you can support that as a family, that's kind of tight. Keep that family name going.
What's the max? What's like when do you max out? So I would like max out at like 3 or 4. I'm like, okay, I think I'm good, man.
Yeah.
5, and then 6 and 7 come along.
At that point,
I'm gonna keep going.
I figured it out. I have a process for handling this thing.
It's like,
let's just run it through
just
there.
embrace it. Just keep moving forward.
It's like I ran a 5K, I ran a 10K, now I run ultra marathons.
Yeah, now I do. Yeah, ultra Ironmans.
I broke through that thing. No, I don't know. I wouldn't want to do that personally either.
Yeah, what do you think? What do you think the max is from? I guess it changes generationally. No, like back in the day, probably 30, 40 years ago, the average number of kids per family, or at least like desired number of kids per family, was higher than I think it is if you took 2020s generational polls.
It's such a hard question to answer. Like, what's the optimal number of kids to run a family with?
I guess that's one way to look at it. It's like, how many kids do you want?
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like, I'm trying to. In my mind, I think like 2 would be tight, and it'd be cool if they were twins. I could knock them both out at once.
That'd be cool.
That'd be sick. Like if it was just like boom, boom, and then I'd be like, let's just shut down. I'll just like
Close it down for business.
Yeah, we've achieved an objective here.
Hang them up.
But I think the other thing is like
I like 2.
Yeah, right. Because I could really focus on them. That's what I think about. Like, I'd want to. Not that I couldn't focus on like 4 kids if I had 4 kids, but I don't know, man.
Everyone's different.
Yeah, that's just me, right?
Different cultures, different generations.
But also, like, how much, if I felt like I could support more life, I was like, man, like, I could have like 2 more kids and like this, like, I'm doing well with my career and like my family's really healthy and happy. Like, we could bring some more life into this world. Like, I think the Bible kind of says, like, you should do that if you're in a position to do that, which is like why I hear people having a lot of kids. I'm like, that's good. Like, that's awesome,
Keep going.
But, yeah, definitely the selfish part of me wants to like enjoy that experience, but also just like have that relationship and not like, I don't know.
There's a lot to having kids.
Yeah,
to one kid.
Right, that's a lot of attention to divide for like a lot of lives to have to like.
Then have like 7 or 10 in Philip Rivers' case.
That's what I'm saying. Is he checking all of their homework every night? You know what I'm saying? Is he like reading the books to them all? I mean, I'm not saying he's
Maybe
not.
via FaceTime or Zoom or some shit.
It's just like, yeah, that's a whole different thing.
He's on an NFL schedule too.
Yeah.
Well, now he's retired. He's retired now, right?
Was on an NFL schedule.
Yeah, I think he retired this year.
And I'm not shitting on him at all. Like I'm sure he's a great dad.
But it's a lot.
That's a lot to have to think about.
It's a lot to have 10 best friends.
Well,
a lot of birthdays to keep up with, a lot of obligations, a lot of phone calls and texts.
Right. I don't know.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
More power to you.
More power to him. I was thinking 2.
Yeah.
I want like an and 1. Get twins. That'd be tight.
Double up on the twins. Yeah, maybe 2 or 3. 4 is what my mom had 4. Her mom had 4. I think that was pretty common. People back in like
the 4
30, 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My parents were on 2. That's it.
Mm.
Yeah, I have like stepbrothers. Now we have 5 in there, but it was like
Mm.
stepmom had 3. Small
Yeah.
numbers, but the 2, 3, 4. That's about right. Also, like some people can't have kids. You know what I'm saying? So
That's true too.
Any
That's a whole
amount-
other reality.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a whole other side of the coin. Because for some people, it's like so easy, or like it's just like boop.
It's just like that's what's going on in life, and they really think
South American or Latin heritage families, like 5, 6, 7 kids. Like it's nothing. It's nada.
Yeah, I get that.
Familia es todo.
Exactly right. It's enriching.
And
That's beautiful. See, part of me is like
have a whole community.
Yeah. Especially if we're pushing on some talent, you know.
We're a strong gene pool.
Yeah, but if we're getting some people out there that can lead some people out there, I don't know, you know.
Golly, I would guess like the average. What do you think the average want for people, or like the average want of kids? How many kids do you think people want?
I'd say it's like 1.5 statistically, because a lot
On average, like 1.5.
Yeah, because I think
Really, I think it's super low. I think it's a little bit higher, but I think it is like 2.5 maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
I think some people want 3 or 4. Some people want 1 or 0.
I think
A couple outliers want 10.
really push that average up a little bit.
Bump that shit.
I think a lot of people say to themselves they don't want kids, especially right now. Like a lot of people say to themselves like, "No, I'm not having kids." But then like if you were to really ask them like alone in a room, like, "Okay, like do you really don't want everyone kids? We could just like make that happen." Like, well, like okay, maybe like 1 kid. And I think like for a lot of people they'd say
right now.
In that moment, you'd be like,
Snip snap. Snip snap, snip snap.
Hold on. I think I might want to have one. I might want to have one eventually someday. I think I want to have one. You know what I'm saying? So I think that like that, that kind of like drives the average. That like maybe it's like 2 because it's like a lot of people say 1 and then other people say like 2, 3, 4 is cool.
Nah, yeah, I think so. I think the average is probably around 2.5 or so.
Yeah.
Because there are definitely people who don't want any.
We dove into one of like the deepest questions of like, man, that you could think about. Like, what's the right way to?
Yeah.
What's a desirable?
Oh boy, I had 10. And I'm like, whoa, hold on here. We gotta talk about this.
Open my book on what we're supposed to
Does
do.
he know something we don't?
Well, I definitely think that there's something about having children that makes your life force like stronger, and so like
I think Jordan Peterson talks about just like the ability to develop that level of depth of a relationship with somebody is like a crazy thing.
Yeah.
At all, and then to be able to like really have that with someone and like truly foster that from the beginning,
and to be like a high functioning family is a very like it's hard to do. And I think that when your family is high functioning and you're kind of like a leader of that family, it kind of like your energy is just really massive at that point, and it's really supported and it's really enriched by all these deep relationships that you have. That like I don't know, things just like open up. Like just carrying that energy forward into life is like powerful. I feel like that's like who we're called to be, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. We gotta continue the game.
Yeah.
We are just like trying to further the evolution here.
And you have like a voice in like the community with
Cosmo.
Yeah. That energy gets high in here. I don't know what Cosmo's seeing.
It's high demand.
But yeah, you have like something to say, and like your point of view is important, and your perspective I think is like given to you by like your life and God, you know? And like because we're in the church now and like you've been baptized and stuff, so I believe that like you're an important chain link in like the community system. And so like for you to enrich and enlarge your energy to the maximum capacity that you can by living your life the best you can, I feel like that's who like God's calling you to be. And also I'm like speaking for myself too, not just you know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
And that capacity, like having however many kids like maybe God wants you to have, and then like you being like enriched and enmassed to become that person that God needs you to be in the community, like at that point in time, is important. Like that's what we're supposed to be doing here. And I think it's like, how would you know that? I'm like, well, like it's in the Bible, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that that's the answer to everything, but that's the like where the perspective that this comes from is a place where I believe that that's true. And I think that's like how Kanye West comes off kind of crazy when he's talking about like, Kim, let me put my family back together. Let me shut down all these abortion clinics. Actually, I think I'm doing a Jay-Z voice, but like
I'm mixing impressions here, but you get the gist.
You get the gist. Like part of his perspective is like a really amplified version of that religious tone of like keep the family unit alive and like have a lot of kids. And like I think it's important. I'm definitely trying to be a voice for that, especially like on my podcast. But like just I think that's right. I think like the person you're called to be is someone that has those relationships and is like developed by those.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Not even from like a religious or a biblical standpoint, but just looking at life objectively as like an alien. It's like watching the humans. It's like, well, the humans got to keep going. Like, what the fuck else are they gonna do? And like, if you have to keep going, you might as well do it in like the most ideal and efficient and smooth and I guess most potential fostering way possible.
It's probably crazy that we have like love that drives those things. There's also like, you know, people be like thirsty and shit, but like those two things like keep humans going forward through time. And then it's
What two things?
like humans want to like reproduce. Like we have like, you know what I'm saying? People are attracted to each other naturally.
Yeah, that's the thing too.
Yeah. And then also we have like love. And like those two things like kind of just keep us repopulating forever. And to the aliens, that's gotta be kind of crazy. I'm like, they love each other? That's why they don't kill each other all the time. And then they're also like attracted to each other, kind of like animals are, which that makes sense to us. But like
the animals reproduce and mate.
Yeah, I'm sure they like
instinctually.
These aliens
no one's
probably
telling them what
too.
to do and what not to do.
Right.
It's just in our instincts. So yeah, like even like remove the just like as life as I see it, as I'm looking at it objectively. It's like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to do this thing anyway. I guess we've been doing that forever. Ever since we were whatever the fuck. Tadpole. Lobsters and shit.
Yeah.
Or whatever we were.
Yeah, everything does.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. So if we have to do that, which it seems as if we do, from my viewpoint, we have to do this.
Acceptable constraint.
Yeah. It's like might as well do it in the best way possible. And I think doing it in the best way possible is like the foundation of like a nice, properly running society.
Yeah.
Right. It would make sense to me. Objectively.
Seems like that's the closest thing we've had. It's like we've had all the chaos in the world. It's like not good. And we've had like too much society. It's like not good. But like then you have like there's good societies that came and passed throughout time that brought like democracy out. Now it'd be like a full functioning running society with like strong family units. That makes sense to me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. And even like not even just humans, but like strong units of beavers and shit.
Yeah,
strong units of other animal kingdoms.
Yeah, right.
Like they have like a solid pack. They have a solid pack. It's like we're gooted. We're gooted up.
Yeah, we can last throughout this time.
Yeah, we could pass this time more pleasurably than just doing it by ourselves.
Sometimes it's more. That's what we're doing. I wonder how. That's like a very animalistic approach to life. It's like I'm alive. And this fucking, we gotta stay gooted in this pack, and I gotta like really fill my role, or I'm just gonna get eaten by like a fucking moose or whatever the fuck's out here.
Whatever eats. Yeah,
I've heard that maybe it's
moose.
not moose. Maybe it's in the moose family, caribou. I don't know.
Something like that.
They're crazy.
Big old son of bitches.
Yeah, nature's metal, dude. I don't know. I've seen some videos of some like stuff killing some stuff lately on Instagram. That shit's nuts.
Just nature things, killing other things.
Yeah, there was like
animal kingdom shit.
There was like a Brazilian leopard that killed an alligator in a swamp, and it was like the size of Moby. This leopard was, and it's
not that big for a leopard. Like I guess like 70 pounds.
Right, that's what it looked like for sure. And then it just like bodied this alligator, and we're just like, whoa. So yeah, nature's like that. So then I feel like just staying alive is a lot of what you're doing if you're an animal, unless you're like a domesticated animal.
Yes,
but in the wilderness, you feel me?
100%.
And then
Makes sense.
I think that kind of also underlies a lot of the decisions that like we're making. Like we're kind of dressed it up more, like we're like living life, but a lot
more sophisticated.
Yeah, right.
We're just more domesticated,
right? But at the end of the day, it's like you're passing a lot of time out here. Mm-hmm. Like Drake says, how do you plan to survive?
Yes,
right? I think I don't know, man. It's crazy. Philip Rivers plans to survive by having 10 kids.
The Rivers name will go on. I'm sure the Rivers name's gonna be fine.
That's some Viking shit.
Yeah, I guess that's another thing that you wanted to do back in the days, to pass on your family name.
Right.
To
as many like you want to spread
Game
that
of
thing
Thrones
wide.
shit.
Yeah.
Right. Because like the house, there's a spoiler. I guess maybe not a spoiler, but there's a song in Game of Thrones called like "The Rains of Castamere." I think is what it's called, and I think it's an ode to this house that used to be, and the house is no more because they went against like the Lannisters, or one of the most powerful houses, and they're just like wiped them out, just all of them gone, like from the history books.
Damn.
So like that's kind of a fear, I guess, right? Back in those times, you want to keep your name going, keep your family. Yeah. Whenever they hear the name Lannister, they want other people to feel something. That's like what your family name is supposed to be, kind of.
That's cool. I definitely want to keep. There's a part of me that wants to keep my name alive. Mm-hmm. Like I'm like, yeah, I can't end here. Like we got to keep going. Like I don't know. I think that's nature. I think that's like
Right?
yeah, that's
you gotta
like
keep this thing going.
the animal side of me too. Is like there's no way that like I'm the last one. Like it can't be. Like just like a flower would want to like pollinate before its like life force went out, or like I don't know how to explain. Like
Yeah, I think that the organism wants to reproduce.
or like the DNA inside of me is like it's not done. It's
Okay,
like pass me on, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like I think
Tag me in.
yeah, I feel like that's part of it. Part of having a kid is like we live. I like part of my parents are alive in me from like who they are,
Absolutely.
and then like part of me is trying to like, and it's I don't even think it's me. It's like the DNA. You know, I don't know. I
Yeah,
think
we're
there's something to that.
experiencing the DNA in right now and right here. But this thing has been alive for God knows how long.
Right.
Where your strand really started.
I think that's why we do like genealogy. What the fuck is
Genealogy.
genealogy and like MJ38 is like see where we're from.
Yeah.
Why are we trying to figure out where we're from so bad? That's like a common tropotypical thing throughout, like conversations and shit I've had.
Yeah, there's fucking 23andMe. I think my mom actually got me that for like a Christmas one year. But yeah, like there's like people trying to do that, and also like Ancestry.com and things of that nature. But yeah, trying to tap into your wherever that thing started from, or try to backtrack it a little bit and get some context for your family story. You know what I'm saying?
What am I? Where am I coming from?
What's been going on? Like in the film room, or it's like people watching the NBA now. It's like they don't know about Michael Jordan, or they don't know about Karl Malone, or like Jerry West, or they don't know about fucking Magic Johnson.
Right.
It's like they're just watching the NBA for what it is now with Steph Curry and Luka and Trae Young and like the up and coming Bucks and people who like are established. But like there's a whole story that's been going on this entire time.
Yeah.
Preceding that. And like your life is the same thing. It's just on a larger scale and a much higher number of years. So it's like you're here now experiencing your DNA.
I think that's a driving force in what we're doing here.
And trying to reproduce it.
Yeah. So
Everyone
that's
has
cool.
that?
I don't know.
Right? Or
I
no?
think so. When I hear Philip Rivers, I think, God dang, bro. This is so hard to talk through. Is it lagging on you really bad right now?
No, I don't think it's lagging. I think it's just like it's echoing a little bit because I think the sheesh is all sheeshed up.
My voice is super detached from what I'm speaking to what I'm hearing.
Oh, we can pause it in. Back in there, bitch. Who knows what's going on?
Sorry.
Y'all don't know what's going on. We don't know what's going on.
Technical difficulties.
Technically, things are being difficult.
Well, everything was being difficult. I came up with a different take.
I love it.
Okay.
Different take, new takes,
So,
new perspectives already.
Part of my head was like, yeah, man, I'm going to pass on that fucking family name, baby.
Yeah,
There'll be a ton of mullets, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, like, I'm like, yeah, Philip, get that shit, Mr. Rivers.
Let's go.
But, like, part of me is also like, man, I don't know, like, it's almost, like, egotistical to just, like, really want to, like, pass down your name. Just, I think it's, like, because a lot of times it's a question, like, because a lot of times people just have kids, like, you're not really, like, expecting it, like, it happens.
It happens.
A lot of times people aren't just like, yep, got to that 33 mark where I had planned my whole life to have my first baby boy.
Here
Pump
we go.
that one out. I'm right on track. Like, a lot of times people just, like, end up having kids. Like, life happens, you know what I'm saying?
All the time.
So, like, I think that in reality, like, when you ask somebody, like, do you want to have kids one day? You're like, in their own mind, they're like, do I want to, like, have a little me out there? And be like, yeah, I guess, like, would I adopt all that responsibility? But then some part of it becomes like, yeah, like, me would go on. And I think, like, for whatever reason, like, the ego is, like, almost good in that sense because you, like, do need to, like, raise a kid. But it's crazy because, like, you shouldn't, like, I don't know. I just think it's, like, probably going to just, like, happen more than it's, like, I think it's interesting how, like, the reality of having kids happens to people versus, like, how we think about it as, like, a posed question when you have, like, all this, like, option and availability to just do it whenever you want, you know?
Yeah, completely detached from it.
Yeah. But in an ideal world, I'm balling like Philly Riv, and we have 10 of those things pumped out.
Pumping them hot. Pumping them hot.
Dude, his freaking partner has to just be...
That's a lot of kids.
Super mom. Philip Rivers isn't even there very much.
Super mom.
Just, like, put that shit on.
Yeah, I think it's like
a mom
I
cake.
think that reminds me, or part of what you were talking about reminds me of, I think it was Louis C.K. was talking about it in one of his bits. He was just like, it's kind of selfish from a like egotistical perspective of like a male to be like, more of me. Just,
Right.
as many of me as possible.
Right. But,
I guess there's a balance with everything.
yeah.
But I think it is just like watching it, you need to keep this thing going.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess, or you couldn't. I guess people also make that conscious choice to not. Just be like, nah, it's better not to. It's like, okay. Okay.
I don't want the people that
Fair enough.
A lot of people that my parents loved, like, lived on by telling me about them. So I definitely want to do that for, like, my parents to, like, yeah, keep all this going on. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
All the struggle that we, like, overcame throughout all of, like, this genealogy pool. I feel like it's, like, sourced out some, like, sharpness and hardness inside, like, this thing that keeps getting passed on. So, like, yeah, like, even unselfishly, I want to keep that going, you know?
Right.
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 Yeah.
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 I don't think it's
And
selfish.
I want to selfishly, I do want to experience raising a child. I feel like not like now, but like eventually, you know what I'm saying? Like to enrich my life, to like keep doing like life, like I've seen it done. You know what I'm saying? I feel like
it's part of life.
Yeah, it makes you more whole. You know?
I think so. I think it's a part of life, or like it's a necessary part of life.
Yeah.
To keep it going first and foremost, but then also to like enrich your personal experience.
Yeah.
It really does. Yeah, I think it helps develop and helps mature you if you're not there already. Because it's a weird thing being a kid, or like when like being a kid, you're just like a kid, and like you're not sure exactly what the fuck's going on. You're just like kind of along for the ride, and then whenever you're like reach like more late teen, early 20s, to the age to where like roughly like around the time like that your parents had you, you're like, oh shit, like they're like I'd be doing this, they were doing this, whatever this is, like this whole existing thing, they were just doing this, and now they have me on the way, and give you that perspective of like, oh shit, like it's we're all just kids. We all just are children. But then I think sometimes having a child yourself, your own child, like helps not make you a child anymore.
Yeah.
Once you become responsible, solely responsible for another living thing, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, you're different now.
Like, oh fuck.
Hypothetically, I think it does pull or call you to not be that child anymore. Maybe
Yeah.
not to lose it, because I don't think you want to lose that. Some childish aspects of like curiosity, like laughter and fun and lightheartedness.
Yeah, you do have to care.
But you do have to be a fucking respect wielding motherfucker one of these days. Or not.
No, I think you're right. I think life wouldn't, because life pushes back, like in that TV show.
Oh yeah, the James Franco 11/22/63.
There it is. Those are hard numbers to remember if you haven't just watched the show. It's like, I know it's like 6 or 7 numbers.
It's a whole number thing. I don't even know. There's no
11,
title I can look up.
63. He's like going back in time, but if you're like really going to change something back in time, like time kind of like pushes back on you. And then I just like feel like life pushes back on you if you're like just straying too far from like who you could be. It's like, I think sometimes we get the most upset with somebody because we know we know who they could be. Like we see them for like the best version of themselves, and like I think sometimes that's why we get like upset with somebody. And I think that happens with like life. It's not like what happens is it looks like things are going poorly, but it's just like things aren't going well because you're like straying far from that best version of yourself.
Yeah.
And it's like trying to keep you
not
like
in that optimal timeline.
Right. And I think like things aren't going bad as much as it's just like warning signals are popping up saying like come back to where things are dope.
Change your ways.
Yeah. And
yeah, life will push back, I think. I think life's a living, breathing thing. I think that's one really cool element about that 11/22/63 is that it's a book by Stephen King. It's like it's a Hulu. It's a Hulu series. It's only 8 episodes.
Yeah, it's
worth the watch. But only 8 episodes of a Stephen King book. And Stephen King personifies like going back and trying to change time, and like whenever you go back and try to change time or try to change the past in order to change the future, like you can't just go and do it. Like things will pop up and circumstances will like arise, and the situation will change on you unexpectedly to try to maintain the course of what actually happened. And life or the past or is gonna like push back on you. It's a really cool personification. I think life is an entity that you can personify. It's a living, breathing thing. It's a character.
Yeah,
for real.
It's tight. It's
you can
tight
cooperate.
to see
you can
it
dance
done.
with it.
When you're watching it, it's like I love that part.
It's super cool.
You're like captivated by it when it's happening. And I think it's because it's like that's real, or like it's crazy to see it put in a way that it's not normally put. You know?
Yeah. And because I think we do identify, or I recognize that type of those things occurring where it's like, oh man, those crazy like line of sequences or sequences of events that put you on a different path than you originally intended. Just like, oh man, like giving me or having Stephen King be like, no, that's real. That's a real thing you're seeing in your life. You're not just imagining that.
Yeah.
Watch me watch me personify it for you and dramatize it.
So beautiful, man.
Yeah. Great watch.
So yeah, I think that's what happens is like, I think at some point maybe you are called to have kids and then to like raise a family well, and then like life will kind of like push back against you if you're not like you know, being that best expression of yourself, like not going down the road for whom you would want to be objectively for yourself too. If you could see all of the potential timelines for you, be like, no, we want to do this one, even if in the right now you're not doing that, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, who you're trying to be, trying to fill out that potential.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. A
So
lot
that's
of
how I
kids
feel
though, Philly
about
Riv.
kids, bro. For real, yeah,
A lot of kids
of
though,
kids.
Philly Riv.
God damn.
More power to you.
Thanksgiving would be tight. I'd be like, you guys put together a squad. I've put together a squad already.
Yeah,
we'll be there.
Fast forward 15 years from now, when all those kids have families and other kids, Christmas is gonna be crazy, dog.
Damn.
They're gonna be running like a whole 11 on 11 or 7 on 7.
Is he talking to his partner about that? Like, he's like, babe, look, I know we had like 9 already, but we need at least one more. I'm thinking 10's a good number, babe. Like, I don't know how
Shut it down to 10. We'll shut it down, I promise.
She's a champ. Is she just down? She deserves her own documentary.
She does. She's a real MVP.
I would watch that. That's a real MVP.
Yeah, someone get on that. Someone get on that shit. Start filming this woman.
Netflix.
Miss Rivers or whatever the story is. That's a lot of fucking kids. I think Nick Cannon has a lot of kids like that too.
Yeah, for sure.
He's only one of those characters who has like 7, 8, 9 kids.
Yes.
Man. Well, regardless of how many kids you have, hopefully your day's going well. Hopefully we're brightening it up a little bit. Having kids is crazy, man. It's a whole thing. I think Jordan Peterson hits the nail on the head when he says that it at least grants you the opportunity to truly foster a genuine like relationship with someone.
Yeah.
It's hard to do.
Because they're always going to love you kind of innately. Whereas like other people won't give you that. They may, but like it's definitely right there. So then if you're like fucking up that relationship, it's like more of a reflection of you than anything else. As I think like Jordan Peterson's point of view. Mm-hmm. And to that, like, yeah, Jordan Peterson and Joe Rogan talked about how like they become like a more maximized version of themselves once they had like kids and were running the family well and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Joey Rogue has the same viewpoint?
Yeah, 100%. Now, like,
I know he's a couple daughters, right?
Yeah.
Like 2 or 3.
And he's definitely talked about how it like made him like better at what he does, like a better craftsman, like a more mature man. Like he's a more evolved being for having those kids.
Yeah.
And then I've heard Lil Baby like express a similar sentiment.
Really?
Yeah. He's like, there's a song where he definitely
it's in there. I think they're hitting on truth. I think it's true.
Yeah.
For sure.
And so when I think about like having kids at some point, like not all of them, but there's a ton of leaders in like the culture that I take in that express that it's a part of becoming a more fulfilled version of yourself. And in that regard, I'm definitely trying to like experience life for all that it is, you know? Mm-hmm. I'm not going to be like, yeah, I just didn't want to know what that was like. It's like, this is the thing
I think it's one of the biggest ones.
You know?
Yeah, it's one of the biggest like quests in the life game, for sure.
Yeah, you could just like not do any of the quests and just like pass all of your time.
You just play Grand Theft Auto and just like run around and
exactly
just kill people and shit.
Yeah, but no, I want to see, you know, what there is to experience.
Develop the storyline. Yeah, I think we were talking about like life. Like I think that's a good analogy. Like bringing up GTA or like in the idea that like in Grand Theft Auto, if you never played it, it's a video game where it's like open world more or less, and you kind of go do whatever you want in like a real city, like a New York-esque kind of city. But like there's a main storyline that you like are quests that progress you throughout the story of things you're supposed to be doing to like beat the game or like to finish the main storyline. And like I guess what you're talking about insofar as like if you choose to not do that for so long, like life will push back to some degree.
Yes.
And it'll look like bad things happening.
Yeah, but I think it's just like life's really rich. It's like
why aren't you doing the main quest, man? Get in there, do the main quest.
Yes, this is gonna be tight. Like you want this. It might even be yourself, you know? Like a different version of you. Mm-hmm. Trying to tell you. That's what I always think whenever life's getting hard because like it's going down. Like when I don't know, it seems like there's like pinch points where you have to get a lot done, but there's a lot of stressors going on too. And you're like kind of going to break through some walls if you just like keep pushing. But it's really difficult in that moment. I'm like, like objectively, I know that there's like a me watching me right now. Like there's 100-year-old version of me that's like going to remember these moments right here where I just like don't quit and like take this path and get this way down here. And I'm going to like really appreciate that. And like, I want those things for me now, like right here, right now, even though I'm like tired, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, and then that'll like motivate me to like, I don't know, just do the hard thing.
Yeah. Crazy perspective right there.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Because
I don't know. Yeah. I just don't want to, I guess it's easier to let down. I have a good relationship with myself. That's what it is. Like, I don't want to let myself down. It's
that's
like,
I trust a big relationship to have,
you know?
Very important.
And I'm like, man, like I came so far in the name of like just being the best version of me that I can be at this point. It's like too late, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's super important. Yeah, that's a whole nother relationship.
Yeah, it really is.
That's the baseline, I think. I think having the relationship with yourself is baseline, and then whenever you're able to have a successful relationship with yourself, then the others immediately surrounding you will have a benefit in that relationship as well.
Yeah.
And I think that also inversely, like having a child will help develop the relationship with yourself, and like vice versa. It's like a two-way street. If done properly, I guess. If like the responsibility is adopted or like embraced.
Yeah, if you're like doing the quest.
If you step up to the plate.
Yes.
Swing like the great Bambino.
That's everything in life, you know? Mm-hmm. It's like embrace that like difficult thing that seems really hard.
Embrace it.
And then it's like transcending in that process. Yeah, transcend.
Yeah, we're trying to do some impossible shit over here.
I forget we're doing a podcast sometimes, dude. We're just out here talking about some shit.
Yeah, we're talking about our beliefs, man.
So yeah, I want to have kids someday because, yeah, it just looks good. When we see like a really happy family, doesn't it like inspire a feeling inside of you? Mm-hmm. Even if they're not, I mean, like a lot of families look happy and they're not, you know what I'm saying? But like when you see like, I don't know, just like, I think that when we see like a celebrity or someone who's in a position where there's like a lot of light on them and then they have like a really high functioning family and they're like happy and everyone's like doing really well, we're like, that's dope. Like that's good. Like
thumbs up.
They're doing it. They're fucking doing it.
Yeah.
And then when you see like other stuff, like well, if someone's just like kind of sleeping around a lot, we're like, like we kind of judge them a little bit as a society. Or like if somebody who's been with a lot of people, like I think Angelina Jolie's been with a lot of people, and like we kind of like put a negative hint or hue on that. And some of that's like stereotyping, but I think it's like speaking to just like as viewership, what we like to see is
the objective viewer of this life thing that we're all experiencing.
Yeah. When you see someone who's got that family and it going and everyone's like happy inside the family doing their roles and it's like functioning, we're like, that's tight. I didn't have that. That's fucking dope.
It's like
they're fucking doing
business.
It. Yeah, right.
It's a profitable business. We all want one of those. That sounds dope.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's I think that's part of it too, is that there's just something in us that's like, even if you didn't have it, or even if like you can like kind of hate it on surface level, but you get to a point where you're just like, that's good art to a degree. Like that's just a good song. Like I can't really like objectively, that's dope that they have that family going on. Like that business does make money. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like you can't really like say no to it.
It's worthwhile.
Yeah.
It's a worthwhile endeavor of this. We all have to spend our time doing something. So spending your time creating and fostering that thing, it's like, oh, that looks worthwhile.
Yeah.
That looks kind of worthwhile.
Also, there's a lot of people that don't have their shit together right now. Like, I'm probably in that fucking category of people. You know what I'm saying? Like,
everyone's developing that relationship with themselves.
Yeah, raising a kid right now would be, like, fucking hard, dude. Like, I can't really imagine doing that right now. That's why, like, when I see people doing that, it, like, blows me away, you know? Like,
I think the thing is that I think Jordan Peterson says that you're never ready.
Right? You always feel like that?
Mm-hmm. He's like, you're always going to feel like that. You're always going to feel like you're never ready.
Yeah, for sure.
And then when it happens, because, I think you mentioned it earlier, like, it kind of just happens. Like, it's kind of thrust upon you, and you're just like, oh, shit.
Yeah, I've seen that happen to a lot of, like, people that I love, you know what I'm saying? Where that's just their situation, you know?
Yeah, very common.
But, that's not where I'm at right now.
I think sometimes or whenever that situation does occur, I think it's like that call. It's like, okay, now you need to bear down a little bit and you cut the slack.
Yeah, tighten up. It gets there. I remember being in a place. Sometimes a call to action is exactly what you need. Some people get into a place in their mindset where they've like created enough walls that nothing's really getting through to them. And I think like having a kid gets through to them for sure. Yeah, you know, that'll kind of break through all those walls.
Yeah, I think it does. I think it does call you to be more and to have that responsibility and to develop that relationship with yourself. Yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking more about it. I was like, I think it does. It works perfectly. Like it calls you to be that thing. It calls you to be the thing that you would need to be even without that kid. You know what I'm saying? Even without that child, you still need to be someone who is disciplined and consistent, responsible, kind, generous, like even just like on base level with like society. Those are like admirable traits. And having a child helps you develop those traits within yourself, which makes you a better society member. But it's like, and a better person, just like baseline.
And I think you know what that looks like for yourself. Like, you know what a more committed version of yourself looks like, or you know what a more disciplined version of yourself looks like. Like, in your own mind's eye, like, you already see that. So when you get, like, called to it by a kid, it's kind of not easy to act out, I guess is what I was going to say.
Yeah.
And you can, like, sell the kid that you're that person. Or you're becoming that person because it's like, you already know what it would be if you just, like, got your shit together to a degree.
Yeah, I've
And
heard
then-
that before. I think I've heard some people say like having my kid, whatever their kid's name is like saved my life, or like really turned my life around, or whatever.
You know what I'm saying?
Really helped me mature, or really whatever.
Yeah,
It's like, oh shit, I need to cut the shit. Stop hanging out with those people. Stop doing these things.
it's crazy. So yeah, I think God uses kids like that sometimes. It's like
Right? Isn't life crazy like that?
Yeah, it's like exactly what they needed. You know
Makes you a better base character anyway.
It's crazy, bro.
It's like something you might not even do on your own accord. It's like you would have never upped those stats in your character game, but it's like this quest made you, or whatever.
Yeah, there's no telling who, like,
It's just wild out here, y'all. It's a crazy game we're playing.
and there's no telling which character you are on any given season, dude. Like who you are now in the story versus who you are like 10 years in the story, and then like what your character arc was from then to create you to become the person to be that person over there. That's so crazy to think about, bro. Like I was thinking about fucking Pat Riley becoming the coach of the Lakers. Was not his trajectory, perfect person for the job. That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, it's crazy to have that perspective at that time. I don't know. I think you mentioning like the time perspective thing just reminded me of an episode of this show we're watching. I think you watched an episode too, The Bear, like the show on Hulu about like the kitchen, or like the guy who's like a chef. And there's 2 seasons, and then I guess halfway through season 2, I guess there's 8 episodes in season 1 and 10 in season 2, and then around like episode 6, I think, in season 2, they do an episode that's placed back like 5 years in the past.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's like super dope.
Really?
like super dope in the sense of everything just has so much more significance, because like you're able to see like I know what all that turns into. You know what I'm saying? So everything has more significance than if you were to just watch that one episode in and of itself. So it's like watching that episode with all the pre-context of the first season and a half, and then to see something 5 years prior, and it's like, oh, and that's like I can see why these characters and how all this played out, and like how what was happening, like with their trajectories.
That's crazy.
And I'm like connecting the dots. It's like, man, it's crazy. It's
Context
cool to see
is
that.
nuts like that.
You can do that with your own life. You know what I'm saying? If you were like to watch an episode of your life 5-7 years ago or something.
Yep.
Everything would be like crazy. Should be wilding.
That's why you gotta get your shit together, because eventually you're gonna look back on that shit, and then like, man, you don't want to have to be looking on too many else.
You have to look at it. I think at the end, I think you have to.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I think I mentioned that thought before.
I think that too.
Makes sense.
And you're gonna have to be like sorry for your bullshit. Which like I'm sorry for my bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like all the time. Which is cool, because I think that's like something you learn in Christianity is like just be sorry for it now and then try to be better. You know?
Yeah, legitimately.
Yeah. But some people have like doubled down so many times on like personality flaws to like allow bullshit to happen, and then I think like for all the stuff that you did on that, you're gonna have to like see like nope, like you're wrong. I was like, not good. Here's what could have happened if you didn't have any of that going on, and you're gonna have to be like, oh, and then like still be sorry for it. You know?
Yeah, be sorry for it objectively from because yeah, if you're not truly sorry for it, like being able to look back on because we have like the crazy memory thing going on here as this human thing that we are. I don't think animals have memory to the effect that we do. Maybe elephants or whatever in long-term memory, but we have like vivid imaginations.
Yeah,
and it's like if you could like look back on yourself, like because we can always look back on our lives at any point.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. And in whatever present moment you're in, you can look back through any of your files in your memory cabinet, and if you could like look back at times and not feel sorry for it, and like double down on it, and like I think you're able to do that because your ego has allowed you to do so. Or you're not truly viewing it through an objective lens. You're like, no, I didn't wrong those people. I was in the right. They were in the wrong. But then, like at the end, when like life is like, no, here's the objective reality. Then you have to view it. It's probably like twice as painful.
Yeah.
Or you feel twice as bad.
And you have to think about how much time you wasted, not just living in a lie. Which I guess is easy right now, but it's gonna feel really stupid like when you're dead. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, when it's all said and done.
Yeah.
You can look back at your life and watch it. Yeah.
That's some shit. That's some shit. It's perspective. Some perspective to have right now.
Yeah.
And wielding that is important. I think that's what makes you like special.
Yeah, the ability to have that perspective. Perspective and awareness helps create your entire, or like half of your entire existence.
Yeah. The actions that you choose to take.
Yeah, the way you view things, the way you think about
really
what's happening.
How you view it all.
Yeah.
And then that's the thing that I've noticed about life is like the closer you are to like viewing what's going on, like the closer you are to the objective reality to what's going on, then like your things go crazy. It's like the energy frequency picks up. So like I want to say like things get better, But I think it's because I want things to get better. Like I'm focused on that. And then like the more aware I am and the more like closer my perception of what's going on is as to what's going on, my energy frequency picks up. And because I'm focused on getting better, things get better at like a rapid rate. And I think that's like part of the like system that I have going on with my neurons and my thoughts and my brain and my energy. That's like a big factor in that, is that like I have that running all the time. But it's like a dangerous thing, because if you're not focused on like getting better, like if I focus on like negative stuff, or I allow myself to like sit in bullshit feelings, or just allow my behavior to be chaotic for too long, and then I'm like really tapped into what's going on though, and I'm really aware and right here for life, it's bringing me like big energy strokes, and I'm like being really chaotic, and then it creates like big messes. And so I feel like sometimes the metaphor I use for like what we do especially is like we make a lot of big plays. It's like a high risk, high reward. But that's a lot of our life. Like if we fuck up, sometimes I fuck up at my job and it's like a $400 or $500 mistake.
Oh.
That's a lot of fucking money, dude. I mean, that's probably happened twice.
Just gotta eat it. Someone's gotta eat that.
Someone's gotta eat that.
Someone's gonna eat that.
It probably happened 2 times in 1 year, and it was like my rookie year, and I was like rookie of the year. So like, it's not bad stats, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, everyone fucks up a table. If you're a server, if you've ever been in the service industry, everyone forgets something or fucks up something at one point or another.
Yep.
But sorry, go on.
No, but
costly
like,
mistakes.
Yeah, but it like objectively, like that would make someone's heart sink, right? But it was kind of like I had like a professional moment where it was, I'm dealing with a lot of high dollar value stuff like every single day, and I'm doing a lot of things to like move high dollar value stuff every single day, and like in the name of doing like my job really well, because I was flying at that like high altitude and speed of like pushing like a high end product in and out like every single day, I just like had gotten so familiar with the offense that like I threw like a costly pick. And it's kind of like, damn, like that's a big pick. But it's like, man, I'm driving down the ball, like I'm driving down the field every single game in the fourth quarter. Like I don't know how to what we do what we do at a high level so often that when we do make a mistake, which is kind of unavoidable, it's gonna be a costly mistake because of we're not playing like a low risk game.
Yeah.
You're pouring like $2,000 bottles of champagne, and at that time I was selling like a $200 steak. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, I mean, obviously that's not a lot of money. Like that's why I'm not even really trying to talk about it. But like, yeah, it feels like
some capacity for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
$200 steak.
It feels like, damn, you fucked that up. And it's like, yeah, I fucked it up, but I'm moving those like, I just moved like 20 of those, and I fucked up too. So like, yeah, it's like, I'm sorry, definitely, but at the same time, like what I learned in that moment was, like, it's a high risk, high reward thing. When we deal with high energy every single day, and we deal with, you being like a charismatic, influential person, sometimes if we're not on our shit, we're going to make like costly mistakes. And I think because of who we are, we're able to just like focus on getting better every single day and like limiting those mistakes and kind of being perfectionists and like carrying the energy of a Kobe Bryant or a Tom Brady. And like why we gravitate towards that is because like we bear the responsibility of that shit. When we fuck up, it's going to cost a lot. And we do like our absolute best to hold that as well as we can. So we take the examples that we've seen and we like foster and cultivate that. And that's why we get to bear that responsibility, which is super tight. And I think that, like, that's life as a whole. Like, life is a risky fucking game. It is high risk, high reward out here. You can have, like, a dog shit life. Like, things could, like, not go well
easily.
For you. Yeah.
Very easily.
Yeah.
We're all, like, right there. You know what I'm saying?
1 degree
Most
away.
Most people are, like, just one catastrophe away from just off the brink.
For real. And that's why I'm tight sometimes. That's why, like, discipline is so important. Or like,
it's important. Yeah. It's like people hear David Goggins and kind of shy away, but because the truth that he's trying to present to you is just so hot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's
he's so passionate.
I'm like, give me that. Some people are like, it's too bright.
100%.
It's like, no, like discipline is like life or death. It's like, it's like people, you're just working out. You're just taking care of your body. Like this is life or death, dog. It's bigger than this.
Welcome to the war zone.
It's bigger than bench press. Okay.
Yeah. And the same thing goes for just showing up to work every day. I know a lot of people, me especially, like it's hard to adopt the responsibility of working all the time and showing up and being like just at work consistently is like a tough ask for someone who's like 20 years old.
Yeah.
But like
being punctual and consistently punctual.
I don't even know about being punctual. Like, do you know how some people that like being late's okay, but just like having that relationship where they depend on you to show up every single day and you don't call out a lot and you're not like at risk of getting fired because you're not like there all the time. I think that's like a big step for a lot of people when they're like in college. It's like that's a tough relationship to have to adopt and carry every single day. It's like going to work and making money. But like when I don't know, it's like crossing that threshold. I don't know what the fuck we were talking about.
No, it gets shitty though because you need that discipline to have that consistency.
Yes.
If you don't have that consistency in your life could be dog shit real quick.
Yeah, you can't even put together anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's where it started for me was making that realization like, oh, like I'm going to have to like go crazy at work because it's like the foundation for building a life.
Yeah, I think, we once we established that, then we wanted to do it at a high level. Yeah. Subconsciously. And I think that through that subconscious desire to like do it at a high level and like just do life at a high level, try to play life really well, try to be, and that requires consistency, and discipline, and like confidence and like ambition and vision, whatever, all those attributes y'all hear about.
All that shit.
All that shit is what it costs. And you already know what it costs. But man, I forgot where I was going with all that.
The discipline is just super important. It's life or death.
You give a dog shit life real quick, man.
Yeah. So I think that's why Jordan Peterson's on stage like screaming so passionately is because it's 1 degree. It's 1 degree. And it's such a fucking blockade. I know what it's like to be behind that where you're just like can't get yourself to do what you say you want to do.
Yeah. Oh, and yeah, like I think we're just naturally gravitating towards the subconscious idea of trying to do life at a really high level. And I think through that we like started it at the service industry on the Riverwalk, waiting tables. And now we're like just not through that natural subconscious inclination to try to strive for more and be better. We're like at some of the best restaurants in the city, and like one of the biggest cities in the country. Yeah, and like playing at a high level. And it's like a really good episode is that episode that we had to watch for work is The Bear is the show, but episode 7 in season 2 it's called Forks, and it's like kind of a glimpse into the idea of like the inner workings of the cogs that run the machine of a fine dining kitchen and like the behind the scenes of a fine dining kitchen and kind of like that kind of shit and the tempo and the energy. Like that shit's a really good rendition of what it's like. So like that, and it makes sense to me that we were gravitating towards that naturally. And it's crazy because watching that episode and watching that show, I'm like, this is tight. This is dope. I'm about this life.
Yeah. That's the one that I've seen too, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, captivated.
Awesome. Yeah, it's badass. But yeah, just trying to do, but that's what it looks like at the restaurant level. There's levels to it in every category of business. There's someone trying to do it at the highest level.
Yeah. We were thinking about that if we were lawyers or I started off in finance in college, like same mindset. It was like, I want to go play at the highest level I can play.
Yeah, I try to be like a general contractor, like a dentist or whatever the hell you're trying to do.
Yeah, I want to ball.
People are out there trying to do it the best. Yeah. Like being a surgeon.
Not everybody.
That's true.
Do you think everybody, if they really bought in, would they want to do it at the highest level?
Maybe the highest level they could.
Do you think anybody can do anything?
What?
Like, I think anybody could. Yeah. It's just like time truly dedicated to it. It's like anybody could have been Kobe to a degree if you would have been like, it's just tough because he's like really tall, super athletic. Not everybody's really tall and super athletic. 6'6". But like Allen Iverson, you know what I'm saying? Or like Odell Beckham, like it's hard not to say your favorite athlete. Like Messi, he's not like super physique gifted, you know. But I don't know, man.
I think people could do whatever they really set their mind to,
and also whatever you would set your really mind to, that thing's available to you.
Yes,
that's the thing.
There it is.
Yeah, your life is like tailored for you. So if you were to set your mind on what you would actually want to do, that thing could be done if you would pursue it like with your full heart, you know?
Yeah. So yeah, I guess the sentiment is maybe you can't do anything you set your mind to, but of the anything that you could set your mind to, the one thing that you would set your mind to, you could do it.
Facts.
That's it.
That's why you got to be disciplined. Yes. Wouldn't that be worthwhile?
You would never be able to do it if you're not disciplined.
Or you could have a dog shit life really easily.
Dog shit.
Dude, such a
poopy shit life.
No, that's why that's why it's life or death, is because it's like right there, you know?
Get shit coal for Christmas, or you get tailor-made perfect life for Christmas.
Just based on how I behave? It's like kind of.
I think a little bit. How you behave and how you think about how you're behaving and how you think about why you're behaving the way you're behaving in reaction to the things that are happening to you.
Because you got to see the process. Like, how you process this thought is how you're going to think about it when you wake up tomorrow. And how you think about it when you wake up tomorrow is how you're going to act throughout the day tomorrow. And then how you act throughout the day tomorrow creates the like impact of how you acted that day. Then you deal with those results, and like that creates something it's like almost like culture. Like then 3 weeks into that process that you started, there's like a moment where you can have like a big decision that takes you down like one path or another path, but you've like been in the culture of like not handling life well. And then you can make like a bad choice. But it started and stemmed from not processing one thought well. And I think that's like why it's so important to have discipline day to day. Yeah. It's because it all culminates into these like moments where
little snowball.
Yeah. And like in Fable, you can be bad. Like for all of the tiny Fable's a video game that taught me morality when I was a kid.
Great video game about morality.
My mic's on a little bit of lag, but I'm gonna push through. I hope it don't sound weird.
Pushing through.
But in Fable, there's like these checkpoints throughout the game where you like are dealing with like level 1 base stuff, and then like a big boss fight happens, and then you progress into like the second tier of like attributes and weapons and shit like that. So like you make these morality choices throughout the game where you can be like, I did good throughout this whole section of time, in all of the level 1 progressing, I made good choices. And then when you get to the boss fight, like you can choose to be good and double down on that, and you'll have like 2,000 good points. Or you can make like the evil choice and then have minus 1,000 good points, and you earned 1,000 good points throughout all the decisions that you made leading to that point. And like, I don't know if it's just because I play Fable, but I kind of like view life like that all the time. It's like you get to these points where maybe you were fucking up for like this whole period of time, but then you get to this point where you could do something good, and you're like, fuck, dude, I need to like do the right thing right here super a lot. But then there's also the reciprocal where you've been doing like well the whole time, and then you can kind of like fuck it up in one moment and like
you lose a lot of progress.
Yeah. And I think that it's important to make sure you didn't like let like one day or like one pattern of thoughts like stem out of everything's got to check across the matrix as a whole. Like if it's not like in harmony with the beat I already have, like it's probably not going to last. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that shit matters. Discipline matters. It's 1 degree. It's one shade. That's
one decision or one indecision or whatever.
And sometimes it comes down to one thought, or it's going to start there at least.
Yeah, I think you're hitting that dead on the money with that. It kind of starts with the way you process. I guess that's a common adage. Like the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. The way you process one thought, the way you handle that thought, and like your justifications for whatever. If you keep on hammering those justifications over and over and over again, you'll be real good at it. Kind of slithering through the shit and just allowing yourself to not be on the path.
It's like malware in your system. And you can like feed it, like your justifications, like your bullshit, like why you allow yourself to come to work hungover every day. It's like eventually like that neural network of allowing yourself to not, like let's say for instance, you just don't think you have to come in very prepared. You're like, nah, I'm good. Like I walk in, I'm good. I handle everything. I'm on it. And then like your brain's just going to start thinking that like forever. And that could be for better or worse. Like it's going to bleed into other things.
Yeah. See, that's why it's so important at work to go hard, because you're not going hard necessarily just for work. It's like such deep neural networks that work behind all the processing and thought thinking and action taking that you do on a day-to-day basis.
Yes. It's not for anybody. Sometimes it is for everybody else. It's better if it's for everybody else. That would be hard if you were just like about your community. But it starts with just like it's for you. Like at base level, if you're like really not functioning well, it's like process the fact that this is for you, because how you act here is going to fuck up all of this neural construction that you're doing if you're not like consistently feeding your axioms the right food. And so like I think if you're being selfish at work, like you're like, I just like don't really want to try hard today, or like I'm not gonna get out of my comfort zone to like get along with my teammates, or like fuck my boss sucks. Like you're not even like trying to like drink the Kool-Aid like they talk about in that show. Like
try to make it work.
Like fuck that Kool-Aid.
Or try to make it enjoyable, at least make it a smooth ride.
And it's like, well, why not? Why don't be like that? It's like, at least for you, like you're fucking neural construction, dog. Like don't
make it. It might not be, because I understand if it's not the right fit, if you don't like where you work, if like the people, if it really is like some bullshit and people are on some power trip kind of shit and taking control of their managerial or however higher up in the hierarchy they are than you, if they are like just being a bully and just being an asshole, like that's a real thing. So like don't just like take that per se, but in the general terms, like just kind of like don't bring negative energy into an environment. Bringing more negative energy into it will never result in positive benefit for you.
Now you
So
gotta
even if
be-
they are fucking with you, because a lot of times people, yeah, it's like the examples you were mentioning, it's more kind of like people aren't coming in. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes work does kind of suck, and people do suck. But even in those situations, like try to get your way out, try to plan your escape route, and then in your time there, like fucking Andy Dufresne. The truth in that, man, like just like bide your time, like fucking carve out your wall and make your escape. But
Yeah.
don't be trying to fight prison guards the whole time you're there.
I feel like and be dynamic. Like don't have negative energy, but that doesn't mean that like you can't like be yourself. Like respect yourself enough to create your lane for you. Like you can be if someone's raining tyrannical on you, you can be well, first of all, they're probably tyrannical to other people too. So it's important for you to like not deal with it, like not like beat the shit out of that person, but like be dynamic.
Whoop your boss's
about it.
ass.
Yeah.
MJ38 approved.
Not like that, but just like
Maybe
be
not, maybe not.
dynamic. Like sometimes it's
Be
like
true.
yeah, that's a good like how do you be dynamic? Well, like be truthful because you can't really knock that.
Yes.
You know?
If what you're saying is true, what are they going to say?
It's also like a double negative is a positive, right? It's like something along those lines. It's like how do I something negative is going on and then like now I have the power to like express and articulate that and what could be better and like if you were to disagree then like that would be kind of fucked up, right? So like that you create a positive just by like being dynamic, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And also if you can find a solution that's like win-win-win, but your win is like it's like worth it enough that you're like down to like be dynamic. It's like, I don't know. Sometimes like when someone's bringing me negative energy, I just want to like arrive with fuck that. Like, oh, we'll just express fuck that.
Bring that to my door.
Yeah. It's not,
I'll show you.
it's not happening. But then there's another part of my brain that's like, just be more dynamic than that. Like find a solution that like works on surface level and it gets everything done that you want to do and it clears my matrix for what's important to me. Like all the metaphysics are going to work out from like level 1 to level 10 and my brain's like that's how a good song works. So if I can like bring that into like life, I'm like that's a good idea, that's good art. I'll try to move off of that, but it's not always easy to do.
Yeah,
you gotta sit down and think about shit
finesse.
sometimes.
It's important to have the finesse when you're trying to handle that bullshit. But yeah, bringing more negative energy into the situation or into your workplace is like not gonna, because some people are like, I'll work. I guess a figment in people's imagination is that like I'll work hard or I'll really be pushing the envelope whenever I'm doing X, Y, or Z, whenever I'm working here or whenever I'm really enjoy the shit that I'm doing.
Yeah.
But it's like to some degree, yes, like you might not be doing what you're meant to be doing. But I think the only way to get there is to truly embrace where you're at right now.
Yeah.
And to not bring any extra negative energy into the situation.
It's a crazy thing to ask to be doing exactly what you want to be doing. Like nobody's doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God knows.
Yeah.
Yeah,
in line, motherfucker.
everyone is out here trying to figure it out, y'all.
Yeah.
Everyone's out here trying to figure it out. Like, what am I supposed to be doing? How do I do it? Am I doing the right thing?
And when you are in that position, you feel blessed. Like,
Yes. Yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it to try to find out.
right. So you want to be ready when you get there. That's another thing.
Exactly. Because, yeah, you got to learn, like, how to work, how to be consistent, how to be disciplined.
Yeah. Can you be good at a job?
Can you be coached?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's important. But keep working, y'all. I believe in you. If you're not doing what you want to do, that's all right. Neither are we.
Same boat.
We're same boat, y'all.
Just stay solid.
We're pushing, though. Just stay consistent. That's the one thing that weightlifting / bodybuilding, being in the gym has taught me is that consistency wins. Which is like, I think consistency is almost directly tied to discipline. I guess in some ways directly tied. And in other ways, it's its own stat. But consistency is the fucking thing, man. That'll get you the body you want. That'll get you the money you want. That'll get you the relationship you want. You could learn a language. You can learn anything. Because if you just do it repetitively, you fire those neurons over and over and over again. And I think that's true in life, is that thing becomes stronger and it becomes easier to access.
100%. How many times do you do it? Like, you probably make a lot of choices every day, like way more times than you like make the choice to be disciplined. Like how many times do you tell yourself, I'm going to eat? Like, probably a lot. Or like, I'm just going to drink this water. Or like, I'm sleepy or I'm thirsty. And then how many times do you tell yourself, like, do the right thing? It's like less on the bar of like what constitutes you as a person. Yeah, or like just all the choices that you make. And I think it's important to like, that's why working out is dope, because it's like good decision practice. And then if you go into work and make good decisions at work, that's like you spend like 12 hours of your day just like hammering in the shit that you need to survive out here, to like thrive and like do the job you want well and all that.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah, being a good employee translates to having those skills, or it's like being a good employee, like, you have to have X, Y, and Z skills to be considered a good employee. And like those skills, you just need those skills in life. Not even to be a good employee, but just like to thrive, to not have a dog shit life.
Or like being like a good man. Or that might be like a gender biased statement. But like,
whoa, it's 2023.
But just hear me. Just hear me. Pretend we're in the Wild West, okay?
A good person, people.
But like if I was a cowboy trying to be like a good man, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It'd be the same thing that would like make you being good at your job, being reliable. That's a big thing. Right?
Yeah.
I think that constitutes being like a good person.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Being a good father, being a good employee, being a good husband, being a partner, being a good person.
Being disciplined helps you be reliable.
Yes.
But like
1000%.
Right. So that's why discipline is important, because like eventually you do want the people that you love to be able to rely on you. Who doesn't want that, right? Mm-hmm. You'd love to be able to say that to yourself. But like, are you reliable? That's a different question, you know? And then eventually like you learn that about yourself. Like if you're not sure, you're probably not. And if you know you are reliable, then like, you know, like you got there by building some kind of like constitution of yourself, but based on everything you do all the time. You're like, no, I do what the fuck I'm supposed to do. Like all the time. I know I can show up where I'm supposed to be. Like I know I can handle myself. I know I handle chaos well. Like even if adversity comes up or like roadblocks come up, like pretty much nothing's gonna stop me. I have like a system in place to like do this shit. Mm-hmm. And that's crazy because when you're a child, it doesn't feel like that at all. You're just like
you're just beat booping.
Yeah. You don't know how anybody's doing anything, you know?
Nah. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, and then at some point you become a person, or not child, adult, I guess, right?
Yeah. Yeah, shit happens. Like a lot of times, say like bad shit happens to you. That's kind of when you become an adult. Like in Sleeping Beauty, she's like asleep until I guess she's like at the point of maturation, and then like Maleficent comes for her, and then at that point she's like asleep until like a prince wakes her up. But I don't know if you need like a prince to wake you up, but what that represents according to Jordan Peterson was like at that point of maturation, sometimes like a bad thing is what it is going to turn her into like a full functioning adult.
Yeah, fully realized adult.
Yeah, like overcoming that bad thing that happened. So like that's tropotypical throughout stories and like people's lives and shit.
Yeah, like Pinocchio, like going from something that has your strings being pulled to becoming a fully realized human, not a puppet anymore.
Yeah, what like
that maturation.
What made that happen?
For him, I think it was initially started with that wish from Geppetto, right? Yeah, Geppetto was the father. I think it started with the wish from Geppetto initially to like have I think he wanted that, was to have his puppet become real or become animated. Okay. And then like the puppet became animated, but it was still a puppet. And then it goes throughout the whole duration of the movie. And then he has to like go save his father from the whale or whatever. And then he gets spit up on shore, then he dies, and then he is reborn as a human, like a boy. But I guess, yeah, I guess we were talking about more like age maturation through becoming a child to an adult. I guess even when you're an adult, you're still maybe a puppet to some degree. Yeah. To become an actual human. So yeah, in Pinocchio, he dives into the belly of the whale to save his father. Yes. So that kind of call to action will make you grow up. Mm-hmm. I also think, yeah, like call to action, that's what I was going to say next. It's just like sometimes there's just like life needs you to like step the fuck up. And then you have to like be the best version of yourself. And then you like cross the threshold into just like being that person consistently, you know? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Kids will make you do that too. We're talking about that. Yeah, absolutely. Like things that'll call you to grow up. Big time. Facts. Yeah, if it's not a kid, I think, yeah, biblical times, like Abraham, it's like he's called by God, not necessarily like through a child, but like called by God to go into the desert and go away from the land and into the foreign place and go explore this, go have your adventure. Yeah. Go do your thing, man. Yeah. Get out there. Everybody's got that. Yeah, it doesn't have to be a kid, but I think that thing is in there. You know what the other crazy thing about consistency is too? What's that? Like, the upper limits of discipline are crazy. Like, the upper limits of all these things that you develop are fucking nuts. But you only get to the upper limits of it through, like, consistency. Yeah, like, you never reach the upper limits of, like, anything without consistency. Nah. Like, you never could, you know? Yeah. So, like, running 2 miles isn't that enjoyable, I'll be honest. But running, like, 26 miles was fucking tight. Like, not all of it was tight, but, like, any given 5-mile run doesn't really matter. But when I ran 26 miles once, it mattered, like, a lot to me in my life. Yeah. But, like, the only way to... Right? That's tight. Right. A dog. Let's go. Put him on the board. It was super cool at that point, I could run 5 miles and it didn't hurt. Like, it wasn't hard. It was just all enjoyable. It was just like, I don't know. My running started to hurt at like mile 10. And like, that was powerful because of the perspective that I used to have on what cardio used to mean to me.
And that was because I was on the upper limits of what running was because I had consistently ran for like over a year. And like that perspective, I think is life changing. Like once your energy sees that, once you know that you can be like so above something that like the way everyone perceives it is kind of crazy to you at that point because you've touched the upper limits of like the 1% of people doing it. Mm-hmm. It's like, I don't know. It changes you. It changes me.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. It changed me on a lot of things. I think David Coggins says it makes you older because you like saw something that like was above your maturation. Like you just worked hard enough to see something above yourself. Mm. And like anytime you can do that, I think it's going to like change who you are for the better. Like you can get these different like perspectives and like hues on your energy and on your life. And like the choices and decisions you have to make you'll have a different influence when you go into making those. So like, I think that's part of growing up is like you kind of change too. Like the things that you adopt and the influences and the upper limits of the things that you see and the perspective that you get, like who you are now isn't who you're going to be. So like, even though it's hard now, it's not going to be hard to like do it later, which is like really hard to understand, but you get there through consistency.
Yeah. Eventually you'll be doing it. If you don't even think about like trying to get the number on the scale you want or like the type of body you want or whatever, like if you don't even really focus on that and just focus on going to the gym, that's all. Like that's where your focus is like going consistently. It's like, okay, I don't really care about the number on the scale. I'm just gonna go. I need to go 320 days this year or whatever. And it's like just focus on that, and like everything else will come with that.
For the most part, you got to be going hard too. Yeah, eventually,
you should. Ideally, you should be getting some results if you're going that consistently.
Yeah, you got to go hard eventually.
Yeah, or dial it in. Dial it in. Dial it in. I guess if you are doing it that consistently over time, I guess ideally you would be like running an experiment. You're a scientist and like trying to adjust the variables over that stretch of time.
Yeah, being true to your science. Mm-hmm. And also, yeah, consistency means like not falling off. You can't take like 1 week turns into 3 weeks, turns into 2 months, like really fast.
Real quick. Time is flying by. I was just thinking about that, bro. It's like we're well over halfway through the year now.
Dog.
We're about to hit August, y'all.
It feels like at this point, time only slows down when I slow it down. Like when I'm like, hey, slow down, everybody.
Whoa, hold on. Let me just ground right here for a second.
Yeah. If I don't do that, it's just on sim. Whoa. We're just simming, bro. And it's kind of crazy. Like,
yes.
I'm in a new apartment now.
Yeah, bro. It's a whole other thing, dog. Yes, my boy got his own spot. That's a big milestone. I think that's a huge like life chapter.
Yeah, it's tight.
New book for sure.
It's like we put down all the old shit. Now I'm on this shit, and this shit's crazy. And that's where we're at right now.
Yeah, being in your own energy, your own self-created environment.
Dude, I don't know if I'm a hippie or what, but I just think energy is so real. Like, I don't know if you remember being a kid or if you ever lived with somebody else, like who they are kind of impacts like what you feel every day, kind of impacts like what you're doing. And you can like push it out and zen it out, but that requires like focus and energy, and you're going to have to do that every day.
Extra resources.
Yes. And it's sometimes it's unavoidable, even though you're like kind of created like a way to exist with that person. There's going to be times where they like cross that threshold into like still being like, I don't know, problematic or like difficult on your energy. But now if you're by yourself though, or at least with just like people who you zen with, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like your experience is different. Like when your energy's, I think when your energy is in harmony, like your experience reflects harmony back to you. And then the more frequency that you have to do that, the easier it is to do stuff like be consistent. People like, it's hard to go to the gym because your life's crazy sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
But if you just have like harmony in life, it's like, I want to go to the gym. It's like, yeah, let's go to the gym. It's like not that hard. It's like a simple decision, you know? Mm-hmm. But when life's all chaotic and crazy and like your inner space is chaotic and crazy and you're dealing with all this like not well, and then you're like, adopt a bunch of responsibility. It'll make everything better. People will be like, what?
Like I'm already drowning. I'm already in the weeds. I'm already weeded in my own life.
Right.
How could I possibly take another table?
Exactly, bro. Exactly. But man,
I think it's really important. Again, we're big followers of Jordan Peterson, but like cleaning your room is like I guess whenever you have your own space, like your own apartment, that whole thing is your room. But even if you're in like a house with other people, like you still have your room. I guess maybe not, but in many a scenario, you have like your own little space. If you have roommates and shit.
Hopefully, yeah.
And in that space, you can make that space beautiful and organized.
Yeah.
Because if you keep like your room at least organized, or your house, or your immediate living environment, I think it does make it easier for you to be more consistent with things outside of your house, and to be better at work or whatever.
Yeah, You're
All that
working
shit.
on the choice to like do better. It costs energy, so you're working on spending energy in the name of doing things for the betterment of yourself. Like you're now creating that thing to be okay for you. And like with what you have, you made it pretty. Like sometimes that's enough. Like you can't control the whole fucking boat. It's like
Yeah.
it's just impossible sometimes. Like you're not the captain of everything. It's like in my space for what I have for like my locker in this locker room looks nice. Like I'm
It ain't much,
yeah.
but it's pretty.
Yeah. And it's a representation of what I'm bringing to the table. And that's just important. I mean, if you give a fuck. I think if you're 17 episodes deep in our podcast, you probably give a fuck.
Yeah.
But like, it's that little shit.
Yeah, man. I think, yeah, like another quote from Jordan Peterson. Like, if you have I think he says, it doesn't matter how big or like grand your estate is, or your house, or your living quarters. Like, you can make wherever you live, it could be a palace. If you like keep it clean and keep it organized, and like only good things come out of and go into it, it's a palace. It doesn't matter if it's a shack. It doesn't matter how big the square footage is. It's
Yeah.
like if you keep it like pristine and like just pure and good, and like you're just trying to do your good thing, man. Just trying to have some good energy come out of there, dog.
Yeah.
Just being on the up and up.
It's tight.
It's a palace.
Palace, bro.
You can walk into a mansion that's like you feel some dog shit energy, I'm sure, in many a
Yeah.
mansion across the world.
I'm sure.
There's some dog shit energy in there.
I'm sure. No, it's cool.
I believe
man.
energy is real too, so I'm a hippie, I guess.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
But no, I know what you're saying. I think people know what we're saying too.
Yeah.
You can walk into an environment, into a room,
You
into
feel
a
it.
house, into a building, and feel
Yeah.
something. You're like, whoa, I just like missed something? Something crazy just happened here.
Yup, you can tell. It's
People
It's
are on
crazy,
pins
yo.
and needles or whatever. You just feel it. Cut it with a knife. But
and that thing impacts your life a lot. Not only is it real, like being aware of it is cool, but like you need to learn how to paint with it. I needed to learn how to paint with it when I'm being like critical of myself. I'm not trying to tell y'all how to live your life, but like that's what I'm saying. If my energy is good all day, my experience is good all day, and like my life is more enriched, and then I make better choices. I'm more loving. I'm a better version of myself. It's like how many days can you spend in that good energy pool? Like I've built a way to cultivate it, in my opinion. Like a lot of my life is like ritualing this positive energy so that I can like share it with everybody around me and kind of like continue to step into difficult tasks and like help people do difficult tasks every day. Because I'm influenced by like sports people and athletes and Michael Jordan and stuff like that. It's like kind of like where my energy goes naturally. But a lot of that is like taking the energy around me and the spaces that I'm in and what I'm listening to and what I'm taking in and like the thoughts that I'm cultivating in my own mind and then like expressing that properly. It's like a lot to do all of that. But it's like going to the gym is one thing, like but then when you're in the gym, like working out hard is kind of a different thing. I think like consistency and intensity are probably like intensity without consistency won't really give you anything.
mm-hmm.
But if you have consistency and then you add intensity, then like I think things get kind of crazy. Like you can kind of have like a vision for myself and then achieve that, you know?
Yeah, maybe like organized intensity too, or like organization on top of that.
Yeah.
Like intensity in the right direction.
Yeah, that probably helps.
Yeah. All those things is like, bam, recipe for success.
100%.
You're good, dog. You're going to make money. Whatever.
So yeah, I think like being in that energy and having the thoughts of like making the right choices, and then that's the consistency part. But then like the expression and like how you in life like take the energy around you and then keep making things better every single day. That's kind of like the intensity of your workout. And once you like have those things unlocked together, you can like the doors open up. They open up. Like I've just seen it so many times. It's crazy.
Yeah, things will start aligning, coming to you.
Yeah, like tyranny will fall. Like you'll last longer than the things that are like the bad situations, because you're like constitute now and you're resolute. And so like the forest will burn down before you burn down.
Yeah.
And then that just like changes your perspective and you continue to evolve. And then like once you've done like 3 or 4 of those, that's why I'm at the point where like I'm 28, about to be 29. And I remember being like 25 and I was like, oh shit, I've been so dumb my whole life. Like I'm just barely starting to not be dumb. And then now like I'm not saying I'm smart or anything like that, but I can understand how someday you'd want to have kids because it's going to give you another perspective. That's like another evolution of yourself. And every time you can like peek up into, I don't know, just a higher plane of thinking or become more mature or go from like a Blanco to like Reposado to like a Añejo, like the difference is so crazy that I think that's what life's about. Definitely part of it.
Yeah, I think that's a worthwhile option, especially because I think when it comes to options in life, like we're all given just so many, but I think every option has the alternative, or like at least insofar as you could do option A or B, and then sometimes just like you could do option A or not do option A, and that's also 2 decisions to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like you have so many options, and there's so many wrong forks to choose, and only so many right forks to choose. But a lot of what we're saying is like like choosing to do this is way better than the alternative. Not choosing to work out and shit is way better than just like not doing that. And choosing to step up and take this discipline, or choosing to do all these things. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything. Yeah. You can play GTA however you want to play this video game. You can do whatever you want to do.
Definitely.
But it's so worthwhile to go for the quests and go for the crazy shit that you're not 100% sure is real. Because I guess that's probably why it's so hard to go for it. We're telling you that like life is like a crazy experience, and there are like side quests and like a main quest you're supposed to be doing, and like we're using video game terminology.
Yeah.
So it's like it's hard to believe. Like we have to use these kind of abstract concepts to try to bring to the table the ideas of what like our day-to-day lives are kind of like.
Yeah, I think everybody wants something, or like everybody dreams.
Everyone thinks their life is like a movie, or wants to. I think.
Yeah. Right.
It's worthwhile.
Sometimes having the expectation hurts, because like things don't go well, and you're like, oh fuck, I really like staked a lot. I was really invested in that movie, but like, it's a bigger movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to believe that.
No, like just do it. Just embrace it. Just be your own protagonist. It's okay. Like that's. Like,
I agree.
Yeah. Just train hard. Like care about it. What the fuck? Like if when you really want something, you sacrifice for it. And I feel like our example for that is Jesus like suffered on the cross. You know, it's like suffering for like dying for like the best version of what you would want if you could tap into that is like the primo example we've got. And I think a lot of movies, that's actually what goes on. Like the protagonist dies in the name of like saving the people that they love. And it's like, I think it's kind of like you're supposed to, you dies in the name of like doing what you love to like save yourself and all the people you're in relationships with, so you can be like the best version of yourself. And that requires like a ton of suffering, like doing hard things and making hard choices, like leaving that person that you're not supposed to be with, or like getting off drugs, or like all that shit, bro. It's like tough choices, not easy things to do. You know what I'm saying? And like you got to do it. It's like that's why it's life or death. That's why it's like so important.
Important. Yeah. To take shit seriously. It's like take making your bed seriously. Take waking up and doing the dishes seriously.
Preach.
Because it all adds up, and it's way bigger.
Go somewhere.
It all goes somewhere, and it's way bigger than just doing the dishes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like my life is better when I have a nice house, or like a clean house and clean dishes. It's like, I feel so good. Yeah. Doesn't that feel good?
Yeah.
No.
100%.
Mine is old?
No, a little bit.
Right.
In my own mind, I was just weighing out. I was like, some people just live their life, bro. Like, they're not like pushing this envelope of like pursuing this enriched life, this embittered life. And I'm like, that's cool. I just seen so much shit like not pan out well. Seen like shit go sideways a lot. And so that's why I'm like, we got to play good defense.
We got to be tight. I'm disciplined with myself. I take it personally.
I want championships.
Yeah.
Like that's like, maybe that was a silly thing to want when I was a kid, but it's in there now. Like we're already so far. Why not try to pursue being the best at what you do all the time? Like I've already grown too many farms of thoughts in my mind dedicated to that. So we're here now.
Yeah, we're in this bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's worth it.
It's worth it.
It's worth it. Oh man, it's worth it. Sheesh. So get in there, man.
Get the fuck in there.
Get the fuck in there, y'all.
Just do it. Just do it.
Yeah, we're right there with you. We're all striving for it.
It's always just one choice. It's so crazy. Like going to the gym is one choice. Once you start lifting that first weight, it's like eventually it's over. Or
you'll
whatever.
Look back and you'll have just been consistent. Or if that's what are kind of alluding to the focus, like don't focus on the end of it, like the workout, like the whole number on the scale or whatever the grand goal is. Like keep that in the subconscious mind, but just show up today.
Yeah.
Just show up today.
It takes nuance. For you people that want to hear that, like, it takes nuance. You're going to have to hold two things in your mind, like what I have and where I'm going. I can do all I can today, but I'm still not there. Like, it does require that. So, like, embrace that. I think some people, like, want to shy away from that. I remember being a kid. I wish someone would have told me, like, yes, it takes nuance. Like, you don't have it now and you don't have it for a long time. Exist in that place. Like, get comfortable there.
That's
because that's how you get where you want to go. But, like, no one really told me that as a kid. So sometimes I'm like, I feel the spirit of, like, just say that to people. You know what I'm saying? Say that difficult pill to swallow. Because, like, Eventually, yeah. If you want to swallow it, swallow that. That's how you get there.
Yeah, I think I heard in one of the most recent podcasts with Joe and Tom Segura. I think Tom Segura talks about that idea of like, at first I was trying to go for X, Y, or Z number on the scale, but then now I'm just like focused on going and just being consistent. And that was like a big truth that he was like basking in. He's like, yeah, that truth of like consistency, like that shit's real. That's way more real than any number on the scale, any way I look or feel. It's like, as long as I just keep going, like because I guess what is it now? It's August almost, and they did Sober October, a thing that Joe Rogan and some of his friends do where they don't drink or smoke, and I think they couple the Sober October aspect with like a physical challenge as well, like doing 100 push-ups and 100 crunches or running every day or something like that. They do some sort of physical challenge as well. And like whenever they did that, Tom had like adhered to that whole thing for the 31 days, and now he's like still doing it. And he's like, yeah, now it's 10 months later, and now I've realized through that 10 months that consistency was like that's the biggest sword you can wield in this battle of your body.
It's crazy, dude.
Yeah, it's just facts.
Gotta show up and put in the work. It's not sexy. Don't want to hear it. It's also because like anybody can be consistent. Like it doesn't even take anything special. Just show up.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the beautiful things about it. Anyone could just show up. Just show up. Just keep showing up. Oh man, yeah. I think I saw another quote about it. It was saying that like consistency won't guarantee your success, but not being consistent will guarantee that you will not be successful.
100%. It'll put you in that elite group. Then like once you're in the 3%, then you can then that's when the intensity comes in. It's like and you got to be right, because a lot of people start training in their own kind of varying degrees of ways because they heard their coaching tree tell them this and that, and it got them to the 3%. So they're probably double downing at that point, and it's going to get crazy with like who's competing with who at the upper echelons of the upper limits. And like the intensity of your consistency is going to be like important, and then your coaching tree is going to be important too.
Yeah.
It's
your
crazy.
Information, your perspective and direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like where you get, it's both. Like it's a nuanced thing that we're doing here. Like as you get to the upper limits, I think that's like what makes it so intoxicating is that it's not simple, it's complex. So as you would get bored with it, it gets more interesting. And that's the cool part of like all these hobbies, or like all the hobbies and attributes. I call them hobbies, like lifting weights, but just being disciplined. Like once you would get bored with discipline, like you realize like knowing the way in one thing, if you're disciplined in one thing, you can be disciplined in anything. You're like, oh, I can just take this anywhere and like almost have whatever I want to some degree.
Yeah.
If you're willing to be consistent and wait and be patient.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. You can do just about anything, man. Crazy shit. We're all superhumans. We're all super people. I think.
I think so too.
In our own individual, unique way.
Yeah.
You're your own superhero.
Yeah, there's no limits to the amount of uniqueness. It's like you're different than everybody. Your perspective's different than everybody. So you can be like super because you're unique.
Yeah.
It's tight.
Yeah, man. So learn whenever you want to learn, man. I'm still trying to do my Spanish shit. I'm still getting in there. I'm still listening to it every once in a while.
Fuck yes, dude. Me too.
Falling off. It's hard to be consistent. I get it.
Making music, it's hard to be consistent too. It's hard to do it every week.
Yeah, doing the podcast and shit.
Hard to do it.
Yeah, life's a lot. I get it. We're all juggling a lot of shit. We are all our own personal dietitians. We are all our own therapists. We're our own personal trainers. We're our own maid service. We're our own chefs and cleaning crew. Like most people are handling all that shit.
Yep.
So it's hard to ask people or like to tell people like, yeah, man, you can do anything you want to do. It's like, well, I'm already juggling so many things, asshole.
Yeah.
Want to throw another ball in here? Want to throw another ball in the mix?
Yeah. Your fulfillment. Making it all worthwhile.
But yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah.
It's worth it. Man, I think we hit it beautifully earlier as well. Like you can't do everything, but the one thing that you would want to do if you could do anything is the thing that you would do or can do.
It's like made for you.
Yeah. If it comes from within. I think I was listening to that. I kind of caught that on, I think Victoria and the little one were watching some Karate Kid and Mr. Miyagi. Because I think, what's the kid's name? Daniel?
Yeah.
Daniel's son? And he's like, I guess Mr. Miyagi has all the trees. And he's like trimming the trees and shit, like the little miniature trees. And then Daniel's like, oh, like how do you do this? And he's like, yeah, you want to do one? Here, you do one. He's like, oh, I don't want to do it. Like, I'm gonna mess it up. And then he's like, nah, you're good. Like, okay, close your eyes. Imagine a tree. Just like think about a beautiful tree. All of it, all the details. Okay, now like open your eyes and like there's a mini tree in front of him. And he's like gives him some clippers. He's like, okay. He's like, now do it. Now make the tree. Make the picture. And he's like, well, like what if my picture is wrong? And then Mr. Miyagi says, if it comes from within, it's always the right picture.
Thanks.
Like, tweet, retweet, like.
For real. Trust that gut.
I think that's like that abstract idea they're trying to emphasize in that moment is the same abstract idea we're like we are emphasizing right there.
Yeah.
If it comes from within, if it's something you really want to do and really feel called for, go down that rabbit hole, baby.
Dude, facts. You have all the answers. Go
down that rabbit hole. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, man, it's crazy because it's like, I think life is that kind of alludes to the idea of life is tailor made for you, and I think my life, I could see that example playing out for sure because it's like we're trying to be these like hip hop and podcast kind of personalities and like try to like lead people to some degree and try to be like influential and have influencers.
I feel like we are influential now. So
yeah.
It's like we have to make good choices.
Yeah, I want to be that person, be that role model for people and like that coach and push people for sure. Like I've had like Jordan Peterson, David Goggins, and Big Sean and other people in my life like pushing me forward to be more and to explore these thoughts. But it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. I forgot I was going with that one too. We're trying to be these influencers. It's important. And yeah, I think my life has been tailor-made now because that was a goal that we had set for ourselves to be like this hip hop duo and do this thing. We set that goal fucking 5+ years ago now. And like, I think along the way, it's kind of been transformed into like adding the podcast and doing more of like the fitness stuff and the fitness content on Instagram. And like all of those things are just like perfect things that were already in my life. And then now even in my life, like in my new job where I'm working, like we are literally going through leadership training and like reading like leadership material and like trying to identify qualities and trying to cultivate and help grow and establish those qualities like public communication and being able to motivate people and being able to run the tight ship and know all the shit. And like I'm like read a book about like Abraham Lincoln and like try to add like induct some of those abstract qualities of leadership. So it's like I think all that's perfect. It's like all that was happening at base level at like my job level, but I think all of that was super important for just like my overall arching story character arc of my movie.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's tailor made like that for everyone.
That's why almost like having discipline and being ready for those moments is like being grateful for the fact that it's like that. So you don't just like fuck up your opportunity or like you're ready when it's ready for you. Because all of a sudden life's like popping off like crazy. And then like, hopefully you're not like behind the ball on that.
Yeah.
You're like, oh shit, I'm like ready for this.
You're ready. Yeah, you're ready for it. Yeah, the pastor was talking about that today. Like if the light on you is too bright, it's going to kill you. If the light in you is brighter than the light on you, you're good.
Yeah. It's tight.
Yes, man.
So yeah. Yeah, same old shit. Be disciplined. Get your ass in the gym. Come on. I know you want it. Get
in the sauna.
We can break it down.
Running. Get to the yoga class. Do whatever you got to do. Get somewhere. Get it going, baby. We're here for it. I'm here for it.
Yes.
Yes, bro. We're all here for it, man.
Hell yes, bro.
Shit, dog. Yeah, so yeah, in the new spot, that's a big new milestone in life right now.
Chilling,
running
bro.
the narrative headlines.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I hit a bulk for like this whole last little couple months leading up to when I moved in. And now I'm like off the bulk and in a new place and just like feel all this like transitionary freedom. I'm like setting up all the new routines and kind of like architecting like how I use the space and just like putting it all together right now.
All the logistics. It's like, all right, what's my new route to HEB?
Right.
How do I get my groceries now?
Exactly. Yeah. Like, what's my nighttime
new gas
ritual?
station? Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what time do I need to go to bed here? Like, I always, you know what I'm saying? Like, when I'm laying on this couch right here, I got to get used to being like, oh, it's 1 a.m. Got to go to bed. Like, that's a whole thing that I wasn't doing before.
Yeah, now you have a new commute to work and like a new time. It's like, nah, I have to account for new time. Like, I have to leave my house at a different time now.
Yep. So I'm kind of like, this week I was like just starting to get into all that. It's so fun.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's so cool.
That's so new. Or like, I remember moving into like different places and that feeling coming over like every time. I think it's a necessary. You have to reorient yourself like geographically. Like, where the hell am I? How do I get to where I need to go here?
The first couple times I woke up like in that bed in that place, I was like, where the fuck? Like, who? Yeah, I had to like remember. But it was such a nice feeling to remember. Like, oh, I'm in my apartment.
Oh, I'm in my place.
This is fucking tight.
No one else is here.
Right. Yeah, it just feels really like warm. And I was like, I'm going back to bed. Shit. I've been getting great sleep in the new place. Yeah. The dreams are crazy. And I think I was telling you this off camera, but just like I was living like kind of on a couch for like the last like, I don't know. It's like living with my sister for a while. And like, you know how it is with family. And like, I don't know. I was also working and commuting out of town, so it was just like a whole fucking thing. And then
That was a far drive.
Yeah, doing that every day was a whole thing. And then I was living with my friend, but it was kind of like, I mean, I'm super grateful for the opportunity. It was super awesome. But it just wasn't like my own place. It was like kind of felt like I was third wheeling their like living setup, not just like third wheeling someone on like a date while you're out, but just like they would be trying to like be making dinner in the kitchen and having a good time, and then I'd like come out, you know, with like, I don't know, like I don't want to
just whatever.
Yeah, just like hip hop music playing, or like I'm trying to write a song in my room and I want to like make some oatmeal, and I feel like just like me in that space was kind of like off putting sometimes to their vibe, and then I would like feel bad, or just like the energy wasn't
the intruder.
Yeah, it just wasn't super pure energy.
Yeah.
But now this like, because it's just like really chill energy, and I know it's just me in there, like my I think my subconscious is like at more peace, and because of that I'm sleeping like so deeply that my dreams are fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, it's cool.
Get some truly deep sleep. We're catching up on that REM sleep.
Yeah, I had a dream like I was in an SUV on the edge of a cliff, and I'm in the passenger seat and I'm drunk.
Okay.
Okay.
You feel drunk, like in the dream. You're like, oh, I'm drunk.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I'm fucked up.
Yeah. Who's driving? Can you see?
No, it's just me in the car.
Okay.
And then I realized that the car is like rolling like off the cliff.
Oh, fuck no.
And I'm kind of like, fuck, dude. And I like dive down and like stop, like hit the brake with my hand, and then the car stops. And I'm kind of like, all right. Oh, and then I like get up and like sit back down, and then the car like immediately starts rolling again as soon as I take my hand off the brake, and I realize like, you didn't put it in park. Like, you should have fucking put it in park. And like I go to like do it again, but I feel the back end fall off the cliff, and I'm like, oh my god, like
no, my dog.
And I like
your whip,
right? And then in that moment there's a whole moment where I'm like, I'm gonna fall off this cliff. Like there's no stopping it now.
I'm gonna die.
Yeah. And then it falls off the cliff, and then like
tumbles down the cliff, or like just like rolls down the cliff.
The way it's like in my mind is like, this is like the cliff, and I'm at the top of the cliff, and then like there's like a bridge right here that I guess like I had drunkenly pulled. I don't know what the fuck happened. Okay. I just wake up drunk in the passenger seat alone in this SUV, and then it like tumbles off. Oh, fuck. And then just imagine like it didn't just like drop straight down like this. It rolls like this, like I'm going like that. Uh-huh. But like I'm plummeting to my death for sure. And so like at first like I kind of like it's falling off where I'm falling through space. And then somehow I like get onto the top of the car. Like I was just like sitting in the passenger seat, and now I'm kind of like on top of the car, and I feel really drunk. Like my level of drunkenness is higher.
Oh shit.
And I look, and like at first I'm like, don't look. Maybe you'll just like hit the ground soon and you can jump. Like right as the car is about to hit the ground, and like not die here is like my first thought.
Avoid death.
Yeah. Can you out athlete this death? And then like I kind of like sit up and look, and I'm just falling like forever. And I'm like, oh no, there's no living here. This car's blowing up. Like I'm fucked. And like, imagine like you jump out of a plane, a helicopter, right? And you're like in free fall, and you're just experiencing free fall. That's what that felt like. And I was like, oh, free fall is kind of crazy.
Neat.
And then it just kept getting faster and faster and faster, to the point where I was like in a roller coaster, and I was like getting sick to my stomach. And like, I'm gonna die like right now. Like this is like my last thought. And then I got like sick to my stomach, and then my heart was beating so fast that I just like woke up in bed. But like, I don't know how to explain it. I was laying like this, and this is how I was laying on top of the car while I was like about to die. And it felt like the screen just like melted, and I was in my bed. There was no moment of like, I didn't like wake up. It was just like, I was like, landed in the bed, and I was just in me with my eyes already open.
Yeah.
And it felt so weird. I was like, did I just die in another reality? And that motherfucker just landed at me? And then like,
yeah, something like that.
I don't know, dude, because it was so weird how I didn't wake up to it. It was like I dropped into my own body.
Yes, I felt that before, 100%.
Really?
From a dream, yeah. Or like the idea of, I just remember the very tail end of the dream. I was in like a house somewhere on like someone's like lake house, but then I went to like a little off house that they had, like a little beach house, or not a beach house, but like a little private, not a mansion, but like it was like a mansion on the river, and then like a little like clubhouse. And I was like, went to the clubhouse, and like there was like a music making studio in there, like guitars and shit on the walls, and like a recording studio. and some couches. I just remember like at the end of my dream, I like go into that place. I like lay down on the couches and like I pull out my phone. I'm looking through something on my phone, and then I put it away, and then like I close my eyes, and then like I wake up in this world, and it felt as if like I don't know. It wasn't like a dream that was individual. It was just like a continuation of existence.
Right.
There was a minimal separation.
That's how it felt for sure. It was so strange.
Like transition right into waking life. I was like, whoa, that's weird. Like I think that place is still happening right now.
Dude.
I think I went to sleep over there and I woke up here.
That's crazy.
That's what it felt like.
Similar feeling.
Right.
So similar. It was super unique. And I haven't been having crazy dreams like that. I think part of it is because like being in the new place and feeling so safe. Like I'll be like sleeping deeper.
Yes.
And yeah, that one was really crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Dreams are a whole nother thing, y'all. Golly, don't even get me started on dreams.
It was weird. It was like, right before that, I heard my dad in my mind's eye while I was dreaming say, is your phone charged? And then I like pulled out my phone and it wasn't charged.
In your dream?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then my dad was like, charge your freaking phone. And I was like, I'm going to die.
Give a fuck about his phone.
Yeah. Like I'm done.
I wonder what it meant.
I don't know.
What do you think?
I woke up and I grabbed my phone and it was dead.
Oh.
And I did not go to sleep with it dead. Like I didn't even check to see like what my battery life was at. It was just like it was dead. And I was like, I'm gonna plug that motherfucker in for sure. I don't know what that means, but I'm gonna plug my phone
getting in any SUVs for the next week.
It was crazy. I woke up and drank some pickle juice. I was like, man, life's crazy.
Life's a trip.
Yeah.
Life's a trip.
Yeah, so a lot of crazy dreams. That was just the one that stuck out the most because it was just like it was so weird to fall into my body and just like, I don't know. It felt like my heartbeat was the same heartbeat. Like my heartbeat in the dream, that was like, like I woke up and it was like the same
rhythm.
On the same, yeah. And I was just like, damn, that was weird, bro.
That happens for sure.
Right, it would have to be, right?
Yeah, are people like wake up with like night sweats and shit, or wake up with from nightmares with like in sweats and having like their heart rate really really high?
Yeah,
be like hyperventilating when they wake up.
Definitely, I was calm, but it just like that feeling, and I was really thankful that I was like, because it was like, oh yes, that's not my life.
I'm not dying in an SUV.
Yeah,
thank God.
I felt all the fuck up of my entire life in that moment. Like all of the, I wish I would have done this or that or this or like all of that like feeling of like So apparently, when you're about to die, I could tell you from this dream. Okay. You definitely feel this feeling of like you didn't do enough.
Like regret.
Almost, yeah. Like, and even I I go pretty hard. Like, I wouldn't think I would have a lot of regret in that moment, but like I did. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I wish that I did like more in my time that I had.
I think that's human,
right?
I think everyone can say that.
And it was crazy to wake up and be like, oh, I'm not out of time. Nice. Like that shit felt good. I was like, I still can like. I'm gonna go have a day tomorrow. Like this is fucking tight. Praise God. You know?
Yeah. Maybe that was like another version of you, or like another like a party that had to die, or something.
That's crazy.
Maybe that you that was in that SUV like carried a belief that you in your waking life are like almost a gunner, like you're debating on subconsciously carrying, and then like that was like no that whoever he had or whatever idea was embodying in that thing, like it's no longer here anymore.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I'm just dream talking here.
That's tight. That's tight. I told one of my like mentors about it, and he was saying that being in the passenger seat kind of represents like feeling out of control, and so like and you're drunk, so like
really out of control.
Yeah, you're like super out of control at that moment, and you still like dove to try to stop the thing, and then like it was just too much. Like you were like if you were sober, you probably would have like slid over and put it apart, but you were like okay, problem avoided,
done,
got it. And it was like nope, you're done. See you later, dog.
Goodbye.
Then yeah, like what is, I don't know what that like you said, it could have been just been a part of me that is like dying right now, and it's like it tried to stay alive, like but it's just like drunk and in the passenger seat and like not in control. Mm-hmm. Like I'm in control, so like I can tell that thing to die if I need to, you know.
Yeah,
could be. I don't know.
Yeah, there are people who do that dream interpretation. Put some stock in that.
Yeah,
a little bit.
There's something to it.
I think sometimes, I think you'll know sometimes whenever you have that like a crazy dream. Something that's like prophetic or foreshadowing. You're like, oh shit, that did happen. Like I knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah. You know that does happen, dude.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Right? Yeah.
Or not all the time, but I'm sure people that happens every once in a while.
There's times when you have a dream and then something comes to fruition in life, and you're just like, what? I think it's because our subconscious takes in a lot of information, like stuff we're not even consciously like. We didn't realize, like we saw something, but we didn't really realize what it meant. But like, we did. Like the higher version of ourselves was like, wait. I heard him say what, and you're just kind of like, didn't really put any like importance to it. And then like your dream like processes that information as if you know it, and then you're like, what the fuck is that about? It's like you just like think about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I think the dream is just a projection of like your imagination. And then sometimes like it's just like what you think about is what you're going to dream about more than anything, I think. And then there's stuff that your brain's thinking about that you're not thinking about. And then I think sometimes it's trying to like bridge that gap.
Yeah, it's trying to show you.
Yeah.
Trying to communicate to you.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I don't know how it works.
I'm not a dream expert.
Nah. So I've been so focused on moving. I haven't really been. Usually I just feel out life. Like I'm in my day-to-day life and like I make like decisions based on like presuppositions and axioms that I've already like laid out. Like I'm like, this is my agenda. I'm trying to get to this agenda and I'm going like this way to get it. And then I feel out like how that's going. Like if things are going well, then I'm like, all right, bet this is a good bet. I'm going to keep like doubling down. But if things are like not going well, then you got to like move laterally and flex and like change how you're going about that thing. Like evaluate whether or not that's the agenda that you want, like all that shit, you know?
Yeah.
But like, I've just been trying to get reacclimated into this new place, so I haven't really been doing all that shit.
I think it'll take about a week or two.
Right.
A week or two, and then you'll still be doing it. Or like a week or two, we'll get the bulk out of the way, and then you'll slowly be still finding more nuances to the new place you're living over time. But like 2 weeks, you'll probably be like, okay, I got this down for the most part. I know my commute. I know my immediate surroundings.
Yeah.
I know my travel distance to here and there.
Yeah. It'll get second nature, more second nature.
Yeah.
It's really nice being 10 minutes from work and 5 minutes from everything else. Like,
badass.
As far as location goes.
Change your life, kid.
Dude.
Change your life.
I feel like I did my time.
Yeah.
I did my time being an hour away from everything I loved.
Yeah, goddamn, bro. For real. Yeah. Shit, yeah, man. We ain't no dream experts, but we are dreamers. As I encourage you to be as well. Because it's worth it.
Yeah.
Because it's worth it.
Just commit to it.
The alternative to not being a dreamer, like, nah, it ain't worth it. It's worth it to dream, be disciplined, so you can have those dreams come to fruition as well. That's why discipline is so important.
Yeah, if you want to have any shot at all.
Any shot of your dream coming true, you need to be disciplined.
Yeah, if anybody's invested in you, like if your parents invested in you or like a sibling or someone you loved, like poured love into you and you're committed to a thing, like be disciplined about it. You kind of owe them.
Yeah.
You kind of owe everybody that's like invested in you to like actually be committed to it and be consistent and disciplined about it. Try your best.
Yes, bro. Do your best, man.
It's a daunting ask. It's a big ask.
Daunting task and a big ask, yeah.
But it gets easy.
Yeah, it becomes who you are over time. Once you're consistent enough, it'll be who you are after a year or two. You're like, oh yeah, damn, I'm really doing this now.
That's worth it.
There was a time where I wasn't doing this, and I'm so into doing this, I forgot that there was a time I wasn't.
That's why it's worth it.
Life's diff.
Like transcendent.
Yes, bro.
Oh yeah, you want to get them out of here?
Yeah, let's send the beautiful people off with some nice kind words. I think we filled the time nicely. Hopefully your day was brightened and lightened up a little bit.
Yes.
We tightened you up a little bit.
Yes.
Oriented you a little bit. We're looking up. We're moving forward. Keep doing the same. We're rooting for you. I'm rooting for you.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Love you, dog.
Love y'all. Talk soon.
See y'all soon.
Peace.
Rolling through the city to the light show. Really ain't no telling where we might go.